So I'm Damien Brevers. I'm a postdoctoral researcher in psychology and neuroscience here at the University of Luxembourg. So I currently have a special interest related to digital addiction because we live in a society in which we have direct access to a lot of conduct through the touch of a smartphone screen, which can help you to eat better, to sleep better, but also that can give you access to a lot of hedonic, tempting conduct, such as betting, buying, get access to pornography, and so on. You can have access to all those conduct through your smartphone. So you use this tool a lot. But what happened when you have to control your access to smartphone, for instance, to study, to work, to drive? What type of strategy actually do you use? We're quite surprised that not so many research actually known were done on this, were directly targeting this topic. So we decided to ask young adults to give us their top 3 strategy they commonly use in their daily life in order to control social media. And the first thing we observed that they had no difficulty to give us this information, meaning that these behaviors are familiar for these young adults. And the second thing is that we were able actually to disentangle 6 types of self-control strategies, ranging from having no physical access to your phone. For instance, if you want to study, you keep your phone in another room. At the other extreme, it's direct self-control. Your cell phone is ringing, you're studying, you resist. So in between, first, we found a lot of creativity in those young adult participants. So after having no physical access, there is pretty much the same type of strategy, but you put your iPhone a little bit away from you, okay? So you can have like a physical access, but it's more difficult. The other one is that you modify something on your phone, okay? You put it on airplane mode, you put the ringer off. The other one is to have like rules. For instance, when I'm in this situation, I don't use phones. When I'm eating, I don't use my phone. When I'm studying, I don't use my phone. We just give them a line of conduct. Right after the self-control strategy, it's self-talk, okay? You kind of like remind yourself on why it's important to study, on why it's important not to look at your phone. So it's like an in-between rules, explicit rules, and direct self-control. I think that our findings are important because it shows that young adults have explicit knowledge on how to control the social media, and it's part of their daily life. So we currently want to take a step further in the examination of these self-control strategies by asking the questions on whether these self-control conduct are undertaken in groups, for instance, with your friends, with your family. And our preliminary findings show that yes, a lot of these strategies are undertaken in group. I will say that it's not right just to simply say that the more you use Facebook, the more you use your smartphone, the more you're gonna have problems, the less you're gonna have like social interaction. This is a conduct that has take a lot of place in the daily life of adolescents, young adults. So it means that it has to be that they are like functional and dysfunctional used. Our research doesn't mean that people might not develop some problems with their smartphone, with social media use, but we wanted to also examine the functional use and on how it can be identified in order to further help people when they actually have problems with their daily life use of Facebook. A few years ago, we asked ourselves a lot of questions regarding television, but we actually, try to find like some ways to integrate it optimally in our life. People learn to handle its use. So I think right now we're asking ourselves a lot of questions. But we are not really asking the questions to the users. We need to know more about the phenomenology of this conduct by asking users on the functional and dysfunctional use, meaning that we have to better identify the psychological processes so that we can actually help people. So in a second study within the same paper, we wanted to know more about the psychological processes underlying the self-control strategies. people with better self-control strategies had less difficulty to control themselves regarding their social media use because they use it less, okay? So the main message is that self-control is not necessarily related to your ability to resist short-term temptation, but to build good habits. So the key message of our research is that self-control can be useful, but it's not everything. In parallel, you have to build on new habits, okay? New healthy habits. By new healthy habits, I mean being involved into hobbies, physical activity, basically things that you value and you like to do in your daily life. So the interesting fact is that your smartphone can actually be the key for you to find this right balance in order to reach your long-term goal. So for instance, you can use app to regulate yourself better regarding your sport, physical activity habits, your food habits, your sleep habits, and so on. So in order to find this right balance for you, for your kids, for your students, for your colleagues maybe, be curious about, the strategy they use to control their use of smartphone, but also be curious about what they like, what the activity that they value in their life in order to find this right balance.